It's Gypsy Man, and today we're going to talk about uh, the last modification I'm probably going to make to my 2011 Staccato, and that will be the extended slide release or slide stop. I'm not going to go into the brand of the slide stop because I'm not even too sure if I can get this in focus. It's probably the glare from the stainless steel. But I'm not even gonna get into the brand because I don't know, to be honest, if I want to even put any attention on the company that I bought it from. But if you look at it, you're gonna know which one it is because I think I only saw about 2 of them that's gonna work for the 2011 on the internet. So I'll leave it up to you all to figure out which one it is. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into talking about what it takes for you to even install something like this and my thoughts about this. And I'm still doing a comparison with this and someone that wants to use a Glock and people who want to make these comparisons, but I'm going into more detail. Yeah, we know that the Staccato shoots beautiful. It shoots great. It shoots beautiful. It's flat. You can follow up shots very quickly, back on target, tight groups and all that. Yeah, that's cool. But we're going to talk about while we're doing this, why I wouldn't consider this to be something I'm going to take into combat. And we'll get into it. But first, let's talk about this extended slide stop, which is, for me, is a requirement. The build quality of the company that I bought this from is great. It's solid. It's a solid piece of metal. It extends out further than the grip frame, which is what you need, and it extends back. This model right here from this company is made for the 2011, so you won't have to change or alter your grip or anyway. It sits right above it. Once you fit it, and that's where the story begins, talking about fitting slide stops into the 2011 or any part into a 2011. It's a journey, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna need patience. You're gonna have to use your noggin, you gotta use your brain, and you gotta think about it, you gotta use your eyes, you gotta look at it and get it right. Or this gun, which, well, my model I'm gonna talk about, was built to spec so tightly. I mean, within the thousandths of an inch, I had to work this piece within the thousandth of an inch to get it to work properly. Like, this gun is sensitive. You can't just, like a Glock, buy parts off the internet and slap them in there in the right combination to get it to work right. Although Glocks, depending on what generation, can be finicky too, and I'm talking 4 on up. If you don't get that spring combination right, the gun's not going to work or go in the battery correctly. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about this. So let's talk about the journey. Let's get it out of here so we can look at it a little bit easier, a little bit better. And when you buy these parts, let me just lay this here. When you buy these parts, you have to know that these parts are made oversized, okay? So that you can fit them, because they have to be fit into the gun. Fitting meaning you can go to a gunsmith, or if you have a little bit of know-how, some patience, and do some studying, you can do it yourself like I did. I'm not a gunsmith. I'm very proficient armorer on the Glocks, street armorer, but I'm great at it. And now I'm trying to move that skill over to the 2011. So the parts that you will have to fit for the 2011 Staccato, you will have to size down the pin. And when they say something's oversized, basically it's at the highest tolerance, which is about, this pin was at 2/100ths of an inch. You're going to have to bring it down to, I will say, for the Staccato, because you're going to have to use a good measuring tool. This is digital and it's analog. You're going to have to use this measuring tool to get the diameter of this pin. And I put it in there. And first, what you need to do is know that before you even touch or start to fit this. Get the original pin that came out of the gun. Find out what that is. You need to get it within spec. That 2/100ths of an inch, You have to get it below that to about 190 to 180, 19.1985. You need to have this down in that range in order for this pen to work with the gun. Okay, so let me show you what the issue will be. The issue will be with the pen, if you keep it at 200s, the loop here. And sorry if I don't give you the proper terms for the parts, but that's just where I'm at right now in this journey. This loop here, where the pen has to go in there when you put your slide stop back in the gun, has to have that 200 of an inch will make this lock up. It won't lock up correctly. When you try to cycle the slide back, you're gonna feel a nudge, which is basically when you pull this slide back, the barrel drops down in the 2011. And if it's at 200ths of an inch, it doesn't allow for that to happen because it needs a little bit of slack to drop down into. The 200s was the perfect size for the hole, which did not allow any type of wiggle room for the barrel to drop all the way down in order for the slide to go back smoothly. So I found that out the hard way and doing some research. You have to bring this pin down to the same diameter as this one is. Staccatos are very finicky. They fit these things perfectly for their action. You have to get that pin the same. After that, you have to cut the pin down to the desired size that you want to have your pin at. I have mine a little bit longer than the stock one. The stock one's fine, but it looks a little bit longer, but it's really almost dead on. But it's a little longer and you can push it out very easily when you have to field strip the gun. The other thing that you're going to have to do is when you look at the original slide stop, you have to look at, because the nub on the back of this one is a lot different than the one on this one. Okay, I made mine, and when I say that, I mean in this curvature up top and on the side, so that it can go smoothly without marring the gun in and out of battery, right? So I just basically made this profile using a handheld small fines file, and slowly and patiently got it down to about the same profile. Did I need to do that? Yes, because it has to fit when you put the gun together. This little notch here, let me see if I can get closer. I am having a problem with macro today, but there's a notch here and it has to fit in there in order for you to get it back into the gun smoothly, because it will go in a little bit differently because it's longer, so you kind of have to use both thumbs and push it in, but it goes in very smoothly. This one goes in very easily. We'll move this to the side because what I'm about to do is I'm going to finish fitting it. Once you get this nub the right size, this space here is pretty much good. Once you get the pin down, you know, and all you got to do is basically get some sandpaper. I use 3 different grits. I think I used a 600, 400, and a 220. 220 got it down fast, and I polished it with the lighter ones. And you just basically hold it in your hand, pinch it, and turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever hand you are. And you'll get it down, but it's gonna take, I'm not gonna lie to you, it takes about 200-300 turns to get that metal to shave down evenly all the way around. And you always check it with your micrometer as much as possible. You know, do it maybe 50 times, 100 times, see what's coming off, how much material is coming off, and then you're going to just keep going as needed. But you're going to need this, because I checked mine probably every 100 turns after I figured out and got a good feel of what the paper was doing. So, got that functioning right, and got the action sliding back very smoothly like the original feel. That's all I have to go with is the original feel. Going back and forth between the original slide stop and this one and trying to really get a good feel for it. And I figured that out, not too quickly, but it came. Now, this one also has an edge on it. So what I'm about to do now, as I'm discussing this with you, is we're gonna bring that edge down. Now I'm just gonna use a Dremel to do that. And I'm gonna do it very slowly. And I'm gonna do it right here as we talk. And I'm just gonna do it very smooth. This is stainless steel, so you're not gonna take too much material off very quickly. The reason I'm doing this is because when you do reach up to use it, that edge digs into your thumb. And I don't want that edge. So I'm trying to get that out of there and round it off. And it's doing it very quickly. And I'm just hitting it at an angle and testing as I go. So I already feel that edge, it was almost knife sharp. And it's not hard to do. And I'm not worried about messing it up because this stainless steel is harder than the sandpaper. But I am impressed how easy the sandpaper takes it off. So that's pretty sweet. And then I have to decide if I'm going to DLC coat this. And you know, to be honest with you, I might not. I might just use it silver and just have some so we're about done here. So you see, it doesn't take long to get that edge off. It doesn't take long at all. And I'm also going to hit the bottom a little bit. Alright, so it's pretty easy. So I learned a lot doing this. I mean, working with this metal and fitting and things like that, I would say leave it to the gunsmith if you can't figure it out. But it's not absolutely necessary to go to a gunsmith to get that done. You can definitely get it done yourself. And I just want to smooth that out a little bit. Let's get a little polish on there. Just clean it up a little bit. But you know, as I was doing this and the things that I learned about the 2011, and I've said this in my other videos, and I always compared this to the Glock as a combat gun or a duty gun. I think that, you know, if you're a police officer, you could probably get away with having this as a duty gun if you have the P. I'm only talking about the P. The XC is not a duty gun. I would not take that into a gunfight in law enforcement. Now, this gun is absolutely not a gun that I would take into a war zone or a battle type situation. Reason being is, and I'm going to compare it to the Glock, of course. If something happens to this gun and a part breaks in the middle of a fight, or anything breaks, a lug or anything, that these fine parts that they put on here, these finicky parts that can break due to other parts and all these things. Let me say this too. The gun is solid, it's reliable. If you want to shoot it at the range, shoot it for competition. You have time. But in a battle situation, in a life or death situation, in that type of heat, if something breaks, this wouldn't be your primary weapon, but do not make this your primary weapon in that situation. Because something breaks, you can't fix this in the field. You may not have the skill to even do it, or the tools, or the time. You're not fixing something like this, something simple as this. If this breaks, you're done. So if I want to go into battle, I'm going to take me a Glock. Straight up. This is not a battle type weapon. This is, you know, as the price tag will suggest, this is a fine machine tool. That's what this is. I'm going to take me a Glock in the battle. Never this. If I got to not call for a medic, but you know how they yell out medic if something goes wrong. Do I have to call gunsmith? We don't have time for that. Put the Glock in, throw the new barrel in, throw the new part in, throw the new slide stop in there. You back in action quickly. You could do it in a minute. This, It took me 2-3 hours to do this. This small little part, to fit this, took me 2 or 3 hours to do. So what I suggest this as a battle weapon. I'm convinced. I'm very convinced that this platform is not the way to go for that situation. You can get away with it with duty, but I'm gonna tell you what, even with the duty situation, you might want to have yourself a backup gun. And if you have a rifle, that's your primary, of course. This would be your secondary. But I need a backup gun if I was law enforcement using this as a duty gun. I am not gonna rely on, if it breaks down, and get it back into action very quickly. So it's Gypsy Man, small video real quick, just telling you that fitting parts is no joke. You gotta be smart, you gotta be intelligent, you gotta have the tools. Have some common sense. But if you want to do that, allow yourself some time so you'll have the patience to get it done. And that's all to it, really. But as far as like the platform itself, I'm still enjoying it. I've been forcing myself to practice with it, shoot with it. And now, finally, with this part right here, and I'm gonna show you a quick assembly. With this part right here, I think I met my goal, y'all. I think that I have my Staccato feeling like my Glock. Finally, when it comes to everything that I need. See how easy that was to snap in there? Look at that action. Very easy. Very easy. Nice. All right. Finally got my Glock feeling like, my Staccato feeling like my Glock. So mission accomplished. And this is Gypsy Man. And I'm out.